I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test part 49. Exploration, Poetry and Drama. That is on page 25 and then maybe 26. While doing shoulder impingement training, and if you participate in the shoulder impingement training, that is at your own risk. But first, three things. The first thing is that we haven't really mentioned that Mary Stuart, Queen of Scots, Mary Queen of Scots, had a son. He was James VI of Scotland, and when she fled Scotland because she was accused of having an involvement in the murdering of her husband, and she fled to England, then her son, who was Protestant, got on the throne, so I guess he became the king. So James VI of Scotland, the son of Mary, Queen of Scots, became king in Scotland, because Mary, Queen of Scots, had to fled Scotland. The second thing which I noticed also, which is not the second thing I want to say, is that both Marys were Catholic. Mary, the daughter of Catherine of Aragon, who persecuted Protestants, and her nickname is Bloody Mary, was Catholic, and also Mary, Queen of Scots, was also Catholic. And here also that Scotland was predominantly, the Parliament in 1560, Scottish, and Roman Catholic services became illegal and the authority of the Pope was abolished. So that thing, and the second thing which I wanted to say is that I said a couple of times that Mary, Queen of Scots, was suspected to have murdered her husband or had an involvement in the murdering of her husband, and he has written she was accused of it. And also to the other thing, when she was, he is suspected actually, but when she was suspected of having plotted against Elizabeth I by Elizabeth I and for that executed, he has written that she was accused, not suspected. And that is important. There's a difference. It is possible that it was known to the people who were accused of having an involvement in murdering a husband, that she had not done so. And in that case, they wouldn't suspect her, they would just accuse her. And technically, Elizabeth I could also never have considered that Mary, Queen of Scots, would be plotting against her or her throne. Then she would also not suspect Mary Stuart or Mary Queen of Scots, to do so. So suspecting and accusing someone is something different, and he was written twice accusing, and now I just saw that he was once suspecting. Mary was Elizabeth I's cousin and hoped that Elizabeth might help her, but Elizabeth suspected Mary of wanting to take over the English throne, and for that she kept her 20 years as prisoner. So Elizabeth I, years in, suspected her actually, and then later accused her. But the people in Scotland, when she came back after spending her childhood in France, and she became the center of political struggle between different groups, and her husband was murdered, there she was accused, not suspected. It's likely that if it was publicly accused, that many people thought to be suspected her of doing so, but accusing and suspecting is something differently. And the third thing, I think I said it after I said it wrong once again, rightly, but it was St. Augustine, who came with missionaries from Rome and missionaries in the south of England and became the first Archbishop of Canterbury. And St. Columba from Ireland got to the north of England, as well as St. Patrick, and missionaries in the north of England. St. Columba built the monastery on the Isle Iona, at the north of Scotland, and St. Patrick became the patron saint of Ireland. Now let's read the first sentence, and then we're starting with a short impingement training. Exploration, Poetry and Drama. The Elizabethan period in England was a time of growing patriotism, a feeling of pride in being English. We also know about Elizabeth that she was popular, one of the most popular monarchs, and that was in particular after her soldiers had defeated the Spanish Armada 1588. And now we know that in this time, named after her, Elizabethan period, it was a time of growing patriotism. And now the second part of the sentence explains more or less what patriotism is: a feeling of pride in being English. But patriotism can also be for other countries if someone is in another country. But in Britain it means a feeling of being proud to be British. Let's start with a shoulder impingement shake. We are just comfortable standing by all exercises, and we're going back with shoulders up and in front. Just forward shoulder circles. And now we're changing direction in front, up, back, and down. And the last time in front, up, back, and down. And now we're doing the same, just that we have straight arms and the hands form to fists. And we're going as far back as we can. Now we're trying to come further back while we're lifting the shoulders up. But try to lift the shoulders high up while you bring them in front. Try to bring the shoulders further in front while you bring them down. Try to bring the shoulders further down while you bring them back. Try to bring the shoulders further back while you lift them up. Try to lift them high up while you bring them in front. Try to bring them further in front while you bring them down. Try to bring them further down while you bring them back. Try to bring them further back while you bring them up, and then changing direction. Try to bring them further back while you bring them down. Try to bring them further down while you bring them in front. Try to bring them further in front while you lift them up. Try to lift them higher up while you bring them back. Try to bring them further down while you bring them down. And last one. Try to bring them further in front while you lift them up. Try to lift them higher while you bring them back. And try to bring them further down while you try to bring them further back while you bring them down. So, the period of Elizabeth's reign was the time when patriotism for being British strengthened or growed. If English explorers sought new trade routes and tried to expand British trade into the Spanish colonies in the Americas. Okay, that is a long and complex sentence. And we have to understand a lot. And we have to know a lot to understand the sentence. So English explorers, that means people who are exploring around. And for example, English explorers were sorting, I don't know what word, but it must mean seeking, something like seeking, new trade routes. So English was doing trade, we know that. English was exporting wool, for example, but it was 100 years earlier, but that might be still there. And traders were coming to England. And also skilled workers, engineers from Germany, glass manufacturers from Italy, weavers from France, and canal builders from Holland. So England was doing trade, and for example, were exporting wool. So now we have British explorers, so people who try to find something, and in that case, or to explore something, in that case they try to find new trade routes. And they try to, maybe the second sentence helps a little bit what trade route that might be. How can someone go out and search for trade routes? It's a bit of pioneerism and patriotism, of pioneerism and of explorism and adventurism, but how to seek new trade routes. So we need routes, so ways, we need a street, a route, a path, a way to trade, so to deliver trade goods. So you go out and you look if you better go left around the hill or on the right way around the hill, or if it's better to go over the top. Or maybe someone invents how to build a tunnel, or something like that. That would be exploring. So you explore if you go better right way around or left way around or over the top of the hill or something like that. And in that case, that might mean try to expand British trade into the Spanish colonies in the Americas. That is so much knowledge we have to have about everything. Next exercise. We're having the legs standing wide apart. We're going a bit into the knees. We are too far at a time into the knees. We're hinging forward with a straight back. We're letting the arms hang. And we're bringing the scapulas together under pressure. So pinch the scapulas really together. Now make fists and bring the arms up. And still use the muscles to press the scapulas together. And we're releasing the arms and the scapulas. And then again another round. We are pinching the scapulas together and bringing the lid together. We're making fists, and we're bringing the arms up, and pinch the scapulars together. And releasing the arms and the scapulars. A little break, and again into the knees. We are hinging forward, we're making a round back, we're letting the arms sink, we're turning the arms to the inside, and we're bringing the arms high up and together, and we're straightening up, and we're bringing the scapulars down and together. And now we're bringing the arms high up and together, scapulars down and together. The arms high up and together, scapulars down and together, with all the effort and with muscle strength. Release the arms and the scapulars. Releasing down. And the knees, edge forward, pull round back. With the arms hanging, turn the arms to the inside. The arms high up and together, you're straightening up. And we bring the scapulars down and together. The arms high up and together, scapulars down and together. Arms high up, together, scapulars down and together. Releasing the arms, shoulders. We have just 4 minutes left. We're going to do 90 seconds last exercise. We are having a bit of a shoulder wide part standing feet. We're bringing the arms up and we're just concentrating on the scapulars. How we are moving as we're making room for the humerus to come up. If it hurts this exercise or any other, then don't do it. Bring the arms up and just think about the scapulars. How are we opening up so that the humerus can come up? And we're going to do it now just one more time. Just think of the scapulars. Develop a sense of awareness for what the scapula is doing. And again down. And now a similar exercise with the arm to the outside. And just think about the scapulars. How are we moving around the rib cage and back together, and pinch them if you want, again together. As they're behind. Now around the rib cage, and we're following the humerus as a socket, back together with the scapulars, pinch them together, and around the rib cage with scapulars. Just think of the scapulars, concentrate on the scapulars, and pinch them back together. And the last time of the scapulars going around the rib cage, following the humerus, and now we're going back together again. And we're releasing. Now the arm in front, and we're stretching the arm, the shoulder stays back. And the other one, and that shoulder stays back. And we have 3 minutes left. So, second part of that sentence. They tried to find new trading routes to expand the British trade into the Spanish colonies in the Americas. So Britain was trading. We know where they were exporting wool. So we don't know with whom they did it, but let's say they did it with European countries. Now they wanted not only to trade with European countries, but also with the Spanish colonies in the Americas. Trade into the Spanish colonies in Americas. Now Spain had colonies, and I guess they mean some countries in South America and in Central America. And the Americas means North and South America. So there were Spanish colonies in South America and in Central America. And the British did not just want to trade only with Europe, but also with Central and South America, where the Spanish colonies were. And to do so, yes, that makes sense, they had to find trading routes. So to Europe, they could go with a ship over the channel. I actually don't know the name properly. Over the water, over the channel, and then they could trade with France. Maybe with the streets or whatever, but it's not so far. Maybe they knew how. But if they want now to trade with a country over the Atlantic, over 5,000 kilometers over the ocean, they had to look where the wind were blowing. Now, America was quite new discovered here in that time. It was discovered in 1492, so around 100 years earlier. But 100 years is not that long to actually explore how to drive over an ocean. You can't just drive. They were sailing, so they needed to look how the winds were blowing. And to go over to America, so we had to look where the winds are blowing. And the wind is not just blowing with sailing. You can also sail against the wind, but you need to know from where the wind comes, basically, to simplify it, to know how you can sail. And the wind is not sailing everywhere on 5,000 kilometers the same. And so we had to look with the ships, where could they drive, there's the water deep enough also, where could they land, where were harbors, I guess we knew it, but we had to look where's the wind, where, to what months, the winds are changing from month to month. We have just 10 seconds left. I thank you very much. We will continue in the next part. I thank you very much, and until next time.